too surprised at. These guys seem to quite like getting it straight away and not waiting around too much. Maybe they're going to take their time. I'm not too sure. No, they are still loading in. But yeah, your thoughts towards this one. How do you think this is going to go? Who do you think's got the advantage here? Because as we said, we were kind of going through it.
I mean, think about how this one works. I want to give this one to Dignitas, actually. It's just, it's a little bit... It's just one of those maps where they have so many different directions to hit from. And if you think about how Zavad actually is kicked off, when they actually went... Oh, it's not even going to be on that map either way. It looks like it's going to be on Dawnbreaker, but I guess we could talk about that map a little bit when it does lit up, just to kind of show you how the things do really go. But I don't know. I mean, Dignitas, they seem to favor these maps that have all these paths to attack into a flag. Where if we saw an Operation Locker, uMAV just did such a great job of, well, 3-cap them off the bat, out-aiming them off the bat, but having Sneaky play that floater role that Dignitas just couldn't seem to deal with. I mean, if you think about it again, it might have just been a little bit of a warm-up. It might have just been a little bit of a something that Dignitas needed to really wake them up and get ready to play against uMAV here. But I want to see how they play on Dawnbreaker, because this map is going to be very interesting to see, because it's one of those maps that's very close quarters, and there's a clear line within the map. From both these sides down towards B that you can't really cross unless you can get hit by a floater roll, which Sneaky can play very well. So I think on Dawnbreaker that they would actually have the advantage here. But guys, make sure to get involved with this. You can obviously head over to @BattlefieldESL Twitter account to get updates on when this will be played. Obviously when we will be going live with other tournaments involving Battlefield 4. Also, you can make sure to check out at They Call Me Pansy and at Jay Kaplan. It's another way to find out when we will be going live with another event. But we will obviously be back tomorrow at the same time at 1900 CET to finish off, I believe, the semifinals and the finals to determine who the first champion is of cut number 1 and who maintains those 100 points and those 500 euros and pretty much guarantee them a slot in the group stages. And it looks like we will have a restart coming in momentarily. But also make sure to follow the channel, because whenever we do go live, you find out from an email from Twitch, and it's a very... probably the easiest way to really figure out when we will be starting. But it looks like that restart will come in here in just a second, and we will be getting underway between these two teams. Let's check out what side each team is on. uMAV going to be on the US side here, and Dignitas going to be on the China side. And I just want to point out one thing. Like this line right here, and I mentioned a little bit earlier, is very hard to cross. Because the whole factor is that if you're trying to get from A to C, you have to kind of go through B, because if you go through this outside road... Actually, let me just take you in there. If you go through this outside road, it's very easy to hold on to from A side or even from C side. As well on the other side of the entire map is that this road can be held on to very well from A and C and even B within these buildings. So it's going to be very tricky for both these teams to figure out where exactly to go. But because of the map choice, I really have to give it to uMAV. I don't know what you think about it, Lauren.
Well, I'm trying to think back to when I saw uMAV on this map, and I've seen them in a couple of Go4s, extraordinarily impressive with it, but Dignitas is so strong. They've got a nice spawn for the A-B control, and well, we're going to see if uMAV can break out of that, because Dignitas have a slight advantage in that aspect, and already Judsky is going for quite a long push. He's going to try and challenge out C straight away. And there's a uMAV member going, where the hell are these guys? Because Judd is just going walkabouts. And we are seeing B initially going to uMAV, but the superior position will be coming out from Dignitas in just a moment, where they could go for that recap.
And I was saying, a little bit earlier that this is one of those maps to me that favors a lot of kills. And I think that's where uMAV will really lie in their strength, with having Sneaky play a little bit of a floater role, as you already do see 2 kills coming in for their side as well. But right now, I really want to know, where is it actually going to go down in uMAV? They've been able to hold on to B, but it's like one of those areas that if you can grab a hold of it, it is just so easy to hold on to, because it's out in the open. There's obviously some things you can hide behind, but these grenades, with the use of angles, you can really take people down very, very fast.
Yeah, it's all about B and A in my eyes. They're the stronger areas to hold. They're just even by the layout of them, it's easier to shoot downhill than up. And uMAV are feeling that pressure right now. Already being big, B being contested back against C as well. uMAV had to play defensively, aggressively. They are being split in every direction. Lovely shot from Asterix. Does eventually get taken down by Judsky, but still, at the moment, Dignitas looking very, very good.
Yeah, they go in for a straight... Well, they had a 3-cap for a split second there as uMAV finally do come back in. And I really gave this map over to uMAV, but Dignitas has played this off very, very well right now. Even grenades coming in. It's actually some very good grenades. Able to hold it back for such a long time, but we do see Asterix finally pick up the kill right there. And he will be able to advance on, but Secret Lead already going in favor of Dignitas here. And they've still been able to maintain B and C, and I think that's just due to Jerk, who's been on the outside, really giving that crossfire into B, giving that crossfire to anyone rotating over from either way, and really applying the pressure and the holding that they need.
And the thing I really want to point out is how close that scoreline is still. It's so close. uMAV had a bit of a dire spawn. I don't like getting that C spawn. I still think A and B is such a stronger spawn to get. And Dignitas are enjoying that. But uMAV worked it back. They're working it back quite well. B and C being both contested. Only A being firmly held by either side. And right now we are seeing Dignitas being put through their paces a little bit. But B will go back into their hands as Mazu claiming that one for the side. And where's the attention going now? It's going back to A. They're looking like they want to really challenge for that 3 cap quite possibly. Maybe exchange C for A if they have to, which they might be doing, as Lesser will be seeing a nade come down right at his feet, forcing him out of the position, allowing Mazu to take him down. And there's no defensive defending. It's quite aggressive, and look at this position from Mazu. Stunning stuff, takes down Sneaky, eventually falls down, but they have a good hold already, 2-1.
And looks like they're going for a tri-cap here too, as Judetsky actually rotated back from the side, going to be locking down A, and this gives them a nice little bit of a start here, but wow, Ro16 actually takes him down, stops that from happening, but either way, they neutralized it. They got some extra points in their favor, and Jerk is still there on the side, picking up a couple of kills. And look, I mean, just the pressure he's applying. Him right there and having Masu in the B area is making it so no one on uMAV can actually penetrate it right now. You're seeing them try as you watch Smash You here, but even right when he peeks around the corner, he gets shot at right away. And
the impressive thing in my eyes is the fact that Dignitas are doing it from the position that I don't find advantageous. They have the C and B position, but the way, as you mentioned, Jerk's playing kind of evens the odds, and uMAV are just being funneled into this crossfire from A. Lesser is pretty much the last man standing, trying to play quite passively, hold down at least the A side, but you're already seeing a little bit of aggression coming from Team Dignitas, possibly going for that 3 cap. The A now being contested is going to be a real red rag to the bull, as Lesser now needs to get back around and find that standing player, but a lovely double coming in from Judd there, as they will claim A, keep B, but at least, you know, uMAV have C still.
And the mind games that are happening as well. I mean, it's been his job to pretty much defend A and make sure it wasn't taken. But because of Judd constantly going there, applying that pressure, you saw him just always hanging around, always running around looking for him, and eventually did get picked up. But Asterix going to be working towards A here, looking to take something back, and it looks like they just kind of gave up on B as he's going to spot. Dignitas there, looking for Judd, gets it down very low. He actually doesn't get the kill just yet. Judd can be able to heal up. Grenade going to come in, not going to actually connect, I would imagine. And that's going to allow him to rotate over through the backside of A. But you see Judd backed off, sitting back towards A, making sure to hold on to this while the rest of his team, Masu, cleaning up kills left and right. Let's take a look at the scoreboard real quick just to show you. You see Walu 8-4, Masu 11-2. And he's been playing the sneaky position, the rotating guy, the floater, who's been sitting over towards middle, just picking up these kills left and right and applying that pressure.
And that was almost a triple cap right there. A being contested back towards uMAV, but there's already Dignitas members on that side getting a 2-kill streak back to back, and they could retake A, but why when they got B and C, they got a firm lead at the moment. They are going to try and hit up A and just give them back C. Still get a couple of kills here and there, but keep the attention towards where they need it. And Judd is just locking it down, playing smart. He's been so good towards his site, occasionally losing it, but then refocusing back up, picking it up, and just keeping uMAV away. And uMAV are struggling to get into this. They had the hardest spawn, I'll give them that. It's not an easy one to be down by C and work up, but Dignitas have already shown that they can easily do it, and Walu trying to find a way around, just still making it hard work for uMAV, and that's a triple kill coming in for him. Nice little bit of an assist coming through, and they will be going for the C site as well, just because they can, and Walu there doing the damage for the boys, and that's why I have such a strong lead. Ooh. But where are uMAV? In a terrible position. They've got a little bit of an insight towards A, but the way we've seen these guys playing, I don't think they're going to get it too easily.
And Jerk, he's just been playing his position so flawlessly, picking up 2 kills right there, shutting down the respawn that uMAV just had, and will they be able to cap anything? It looks like they will, because Judd does finally go down here. They do get respawns on a smash shoot, so they will be able to take A back. But look at the scoreline. They have over 100 ticket lead right now in favor of Dignitas. That nade's going to do some good damage.
That's going to be perfect. It's all about moving them out of position as well, and those spam nades, they know where uMAV are. They're just going to be mowing them down one by one. They know the cross routes they want to take. There's those nades coming in big. Those RGO impact nades just doing the damage and allowing these guys to get really into their faces and focus out the sides they want. Holding 2, allowing them 1 on occasion if they fancy it, and then working it back again. This time, however, uMAV trying to get some presence, but I feel as though that's more Dignitas getting a little bit lax with a 121 to 7 point lead. But still, this is Dignitas in their element from the offset. They were strong. They showed they don't only hold the A and B side, they can go C and B as well. They can hold C and A. So 4 points now ticking down for uMAV.
I want to point something out, guys, before we actually lose the screen. Look at the left and right hand side of the map. Look at Bravo versus Bravo. 21 kills, 47 deaths in favor of uMAV. 57 kills, 22 deaths in favor of Dignitas.
That's a bit of a difference.
Like that, I mean, that shouldn't happen. And I really want to give it just to a couple of members of Dignitas. You know, if you look at the well, a couple members, pretty much 3/5 of the team. Look at the kill line they have: 13-5, 16-3, 13-5, 8-2, 8-7. And Judd has been the guy that was attacking A the entire time.
The damage
so you would
Jerk probably got overall by being that player just to lay down the fire time and time again was probably above maybe Mazu and Walu, because, you know, Mazu and Walu were pretty much the cleanup squad. They came in once Jerk had done a lot of damage on that B site, always keeping the damage rolling in Dignitas' favor, and then those two, okay, we know they're weak, we know we've got a chance here, let's push in, get a couple on the way through, and then focus back towards the bottom site, and
Look between these two bottom, the bottom fraggers, bottom scorers.
Yeah.
Luessa, his job was to hold on to A for the majority of that game, where Judd was the guy attacking it constantly. If he can only pick up one kill,
yeah,
when Judd is constantly attacking A, that just shows you he's always going to lose A. He's always going to need more than one person of uMAV to come back and help him out. And with that, you create a 4-on-3 man advantage over towards B, over towards C, or whatever position you're at. And that was just flawlessly played by Dignitas. And coming into the map, I thought that would have been a map that uMAV, or it favored really uMAV. But I guess Dignitas woke up.
You look, everyone's, you know, even I'm saying, why did we ever doubt Dignitas? But you look at the first map, it was so one-sided.
I guess they'll be switching it back in just a second.
Yeah, they're probably just playing around. Maybe uMAV need a little bit of a reminder of, you know, we still can play this game, guys. Don't you remember Operation Lockup? Yeah, we did good here. But this is the impressive part that, you know, uMAV were so strong here, yet they've come into the second and the third map, and it's been just such a different picture. I can't believe it. So I want to see uMAV, you know, really start challenging. Maybe when they get the better spawn, they can just get it straight from the bat. But I thought that maybe on the second map, and it didn't happen. Dignitas looking strong. They're warming back up, and this is what I feel may become an issue, or at least a bonus towards the end for the likes of Fnatic as well. I was speaking to, you know, Too Easy just before we got in this, and even he was saying, you know, we haven't actually played that much. We've had a month's odd break. You know, we've been playing obviously as a team, trying things out, but there's been no, you know, massive competition to keep our attention firmly here.
And they're one of the teams that practice the most out of any other team that I can
Exactly.
imagine.
So to see this being a bit of a common trend, you'll see maybe a little bit of an upset here and there, but once these teams get rolling and they, you know, start getting warmed up, this is where you'll see the big difference, and the big teams will come to play. So the map will be switched back to what we saw before. Do not fear, guys. And let me know your predictions. Do you think that was just Dignitas, you know, getting warmed up? You know, do you think Operation Locker was just a little bit of a rude awakening, maybe? I'd like to know their thoughts out there, obviously, as we get to talk to these teams a lot and kind of find out their opinions. But people may, you know, be watching them practice, watching a lot of the Go4s. And from my eyes right now, this is what the threat of Dignitas was before. They're so strong.
And what's so weird is that I'm looking back, or I'm thinking back to the results they've had over the course of the Go4 Battlefield 4 Cup number 1 and 2, played on Sundays, by the way. If you guys are interested, you always can play in those. And actually, one team per each week does get qualified into the EMS 1. Is that they didn't place that well. They didn't honestly play that well at all during those first two Cups. But right now, I mean, I honestly doubted Dignitas coming into this before I even saw them play. Just based on past results, they are doing phenomenally well. They're doing completely different than they did prior. And if they keep this up, they can easily contend for the top spots.
Yeah, most certainly. And I just can't wait to look at that bracket again. We've seen so many kind of games going to the third map or going really far through that you didn't expect. The first game we saw very much a bit of a, you know, a hard one to call. And then the second one, and apparently, according to Twitch, I'm not sure how much I believe these guys, but Eyeballers are in their third map as well. So this could be a real upset. If those guys can prove something, I'd be so impressed. But I think these guys might be having a bit of a tactical talking things through. Obviously, uMAV will be trying to sort things out because that half didn't look so good. But we are just waiting for the match to change. We can throw to a very quick break until it gets started, and we'll throw straight back to it. So guys, we'll be back in literally a matter of moments. So, welcome back, guys. I was just waiting on Jason. He's being the producer of today.
This is really hard to do.
It's really hard work to do. So, guys, we're going to jump straight into the game because it has started. It's the second half here on Dawnbreaker. And on this time, it'll be the Chinese team being uMAV. On the US side is Team Dignitas. Last time, Dignitas, well, they had 120 points to their name. Big, impressive stuff. And already, they have a 2-1 cap lead.
Now let's see what's happening over towards A, though, as it looks like Dignitas trying to go down for a 3 cap. They, in fact, get it yet again. Remember, if uMAV drop below 120 points, that is it. That's game. And Dignitas will advance into the round of 8, where I believe Planet Key Dynamics is the team waiting for them currently there. B right now, though, is being contested by both these teams. Dignitas looking to lock this one down. As you see, Wilder coming from the side, he had a phenomenal game this last half, and they will be able to cap B over yet again. But let's take a look at the quick KDAs coming in. That's pretty one-sided. 11 kills, 4 deaths for Dignitas, 5-9 for uMAV. And the thing is, uMAV is a strong team. We just saw prior. It was ridiculously well played. But fortunately for them, it's just not enough.
Nope.
Sorry, I was totally caught away in the KDAs before I even noticed that the tickets were already down below 120. But that will be Dignitas actually advancing through it. And look, Pansy, let's actually talk about Dignitas a little bit. I mean, the first game, they got completely shut down by Sneaky. They really did on Operation Locker. It looks like both teams are even, going for the GGs there. They got completely shut down. But this time, Dignitas, they just seem to have woken up out of nowhere. I mean, everyone stepped up. The thing is, it started on Zavlin, where they got the 3 cap. I wonder if that gave a little bit of momentum, because you've actually played competitively, for Call of Duty and enemy territory, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you know the hype that you can get from going something big like that when you're already losing that first game.
That's the big part. It's not just how you played on the second map. It's the first map always be in your mind. You're thinking, what the hell's happened? We always beat these guys in practice. When did we start losing to them? And then when you do that on the second, it all falls into place. When all the tactics finally work and you gel together, you go, okay, we're back in this. And it's such a boost of confidence. And they dragged that through to Dawnbreaker as well, as I think we all noticed there, because that was over in a split second.
Yeah.
The break was longer than the game, in actual fact, which is impressive stuff. And there were some really standout players for Team Dignitas. They showed why they're so strong in that one as well, which is the impressive part. And I can't wait to see them later on in this tournament, because I think we'll leave them to their next game, because I think we're just seeing the Dignitas, they're back in form. And I think we need to check out the likes of maybe Fnatic if they get there, or, maybe even Epsilon, and see who else is doing very well at the moment.
Let's actually pull up, if I remember the correct button. There it is. Okay. Let's just pull up real quick the brackets for you, if you're at home. And actually, just type exclamation point brackets in the chat to see where we're looking at. This is how it's looking currently. Team Dignitas did beat uMAV here, so they will advance to play against Planet Key Dynamics. Actually did win a 2-0 there. Meteor Makers did win against How did we say the name was?
I said it very badly.
Exacquio?
Exacquio.
Exacquio.
It sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
Luminar, I don't know, Leviosa. Anyway, so
Luminar Leviosa.
I don't know it.
Nailed it.
But Meteor Makers did pull up that win against Authority, still playing against Team Pyrogen here in this game. The game that we hope to go to, if it does actually come to light, is Fnatic versus Epsilon, because they're playing against 2 very strong teams themselves.
Yep.
But that would be an insane match to actually have come up with that one. Gamers Connection, is that I'm going to call it? Connection. The French team won against Exertus here, 2-0, so they advance on. Yoki and Eyeballers, as you pointed out earlier, Pansy, they were in a map number 3, and Yoki, they played. I mean, it wasn't like a completely one-sided match, as the first map was 5-0 in their favor. The second half was like 41-0, and then the second map on Goldman was 81 in their favor. But they are taking Eyeballers, which is the team that we expected to do probably one of the best, into a map number 3. That is very nice to see.
Yeah, and for my eyes alone, seeing the likes of Yoki finally stepping up to the plate in official games, because I speak to a lot of the teams when we're not playing and see how they're doing in practices, and Yoki always did really well in practices. I mean, they've beaten Fnatic, they've beaten a lot of the top teams, but then it comes to official games, and it's not quite the same for them. They don't quite have that synergy, they don't have whatever it is they were lacking, just kind of really kicks in there. But if they're doing this now, they're taking Eyeballers to a third map. That's dangerous, because I know these guys can play at a high caliber, they can deal with the pressure, and if they can really pull it off here, I'll be so impressed, and I can't wait to see how far they go. I'm obviously going to be looking for that result as soon as it comes up, and, well, I know I shouldn't be favourable to certain teams winning, but I love to see Epsilon against Fnatic.
Yes.
Not only because, obviously, Fnatic were ex-Epsilon, but the fact that Epsilon were put together as a mixed team almost. It was like, okay, we've got a lot of talented players here, let's just kind of jumble them together and see what happens. And they're proving they're pretty damn potent. These
They
guys
beat
are so
uMAV.
strong. Yeah.
I mean, uMAV were definitely no easy team. I mean, we did
No.
see Dignitas, finally do a 2-1 over them, but from the first game alone, we saw uMAV as a very strong team. They beat Fnatic. Epsilon's been able to beat them in actually Cup number 2 that happened this last weekend. Anything can really happen here.
Yeah, that's the big thing about this. It's so early for the big official games. We had DreamHack, let's not write that out. But there are issues there. There are a lot of teams, getting the drop still. That seems to be resolved to a point now. Yeah, touch wood. But, if we start seeing these new teams kind of really growing and starting to show up, this is where it happens. This is where you see teams really proving themselves and you start challenging the big guys. And that's what we're seeing today.
I mean, Fnatic, as a team together, the players alone, they've been around for such a long time. They've been, you can probably go over their entire history, but we even saw them back in Firefall when they were playing together.
Yes.
They've been probably one of the teams that had the earliest start in Battlefield 4, and they were the strongest team back, late last year.
Yeah.
But now, like you're saying, every team's catching up to that.
See, and the one thing that always stuck in my mind, if you guys know Valu and Winghaven, for example, they weren't necessarily the biggest aim players in enemy territory, a game they kind of hailed from, but they were very smart, very time-based, very teamwork-based. Valu was always a good aimer, don't get me wrong, when he was called Reload, but Winghaven was more of a spam player, so nades were his forte, artillery strikes, things like that, they're timing-based and team-play-based, and understanding the opponent. And in this, you're seeing that almost coming back into fashion. Valu can sometimes be like a damn aimbot. That guy has such strong aim when he's on point. But Winghaven's never going to be that guy. He's never going to be the star player, but they're finding their own strengths. But it can also be the weaknesses because we've seen uMAV there can really compete on an aiming level. A lot of these other teams have phenomenally strong aimers, but don't quite have that team synergy yet that we know Fnatic do. So it's all about, the ups and downs to each team. Some have some really strong aimers, but they don't have that team play. They're very much, individuals running around. Whereas other teams have such core, great team play, but they don't quite have the aim to back it up yet.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see which balance really suits which team best and which will start maybe weighing down a little bit. And we'll see the teams really start shaping themselves into the top 3.
One thing I like seeing within the teams that are growing is the leadership, the callers of the team.
Yep.
Because it takes a long time to see how games play out to really figure
Sure.
out when to make the right call or what to do in a certain situation. But
Yep.
it seems like the more these teams play, the more the callers are getting better at it. And you saw Dignitas take advantage of that against uMAV just in this game alone. I mean, whoever was calling for the team, I'm not sure who it is. They had the right move every time. They were catching them off guard. They were leaving the men there at certain flags to hold on to them long enough to really make some turnarounds happen. But I can't wait to see what next game we have because right now I believe the brackets still haven't been updated, so I think we might go to a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I think we're going to go to a very quick break. And if you guys at home do want to check out the bracket yourself and the whole EMS site, do head over to battlefield-ems1.com and have a look yourself. It's all up there. It's all available. And guys, we'll be back in 5 minutes with the next game in the quarterfinals to find out who'll be edging forward into the semifinals, which will be taking place tomorrow. So guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back in 5.